I'm taking a little break from the Camaro work for some capital improvements to the barn. But what you got here is a JD Squared Model 32 manual tube bender. I need to get this set somewhere so I can use it, because it's getting on time where I'm going to start putting the bending up the roll bar and the harness bar. So I need to get this installed. Normally you would bolt it into the ground right down there, but with kind of shop space at a premium, I don't want to have something just kind of clogging up the middle. So other option was to get a hydraulic setup that would need to be bolted down, but I didn't really like that either. So what I'm gonna do is, I've already got something bolted to the floor. I've already got the lift bolted to the floor. So my genius idea here, and we'll see if it turns out to be actually a genius idea, is I'm gonna put a couple of bolt points right there. I'm gonna weld it straight to the lift right there and right there. And I'm gonna bring some 2-inch square tube off here. And so it's gonna make this kind of triangulated frame, and this is gonna bolt to it. So all the torque that you have to put on this bender to kind of bend the tube is gonna be transmitted through that frame into the lift. So those lift bolts should be more than enough to hold it in place. And the reason why I'm gonna go diagonal is to get a little bit more triangulation, so there's not as much flex in the system. And then ideally, if I need to get rid of this, I can unbolt it, take this and move it elsewhere, and then this frame will fold up against the lift. So it'll fold up out of the way when I'm not using it. And then as you can see, the tube that I'm bending will go straight through here, and it'll just miss this vertical lift arm, and it'll go out that way. And when you bend it, it'll bend this way. So if I want to build like a roll cage hoop that's 180 degrees total, it's gonna go through, and it'll bend, and it'll bend, and it'll bend, and it'll come back this way. So I think that'll give me plenty of clearance to kind of do what I need to do, and hopefully fold up out of the way. So we're gonna go ahead and try to mock that up. Tacked up and fabbed into place. You can kind of see the square base of the tubing bender is going to sit right on that square. Have 4 bolts going through there, and because this angle right here that's a part of the lift is about a 1/2 inch thick at the bottom, I'm actually going to use the bolt heads that are going to go up through here with some washers to shim this up and down, so I can get the washer stack just so that it all sits kind of level. So a nice little bonus feature. And then on the ends down here, here's what I did for the hinges. It's got some nice beefy 1/4 inch plate. And you probably won't notice, but these are actually the little weld fittings that DSC sends with their subframe connector kit. And if you go back and watch that video, I'll put a link up here, you'll see that I didn't use these. And so they were just lying around, and I just enlarged one of the rosette holes and made it a bolt hole. So this is going to get welded to the lift there, down there, welded on here. And so when I'm not using the tubing bender, I can move the bender back into the workshop and then fold the frame up out of the way. Getting ready to drill the holes for mounting the base of the tubing bender. But a quick tip: if you're going to use these Christmas tree bits, if you haven't, they're awesome, by the way. These are the cheap ones from Harbor Freight. And they work great, so you don't lose track of how far you've gone, because they do cut pretty fast. Take a little blue Sharpie and mark it on the level that you want, so when the blue disappears, stop drilling. because it's just so dang cold right now, but I got all the tabs burned in, everything's welded. You can kind of see how it's gonna sit on the floor. 4 bolts will go right here, hold that tubing bender in, and the proof is in the pudding. We'll see on the video where I start making the roll bar if this thing is stiff enough so that I can really crank down on the tubing bender and make it work. So even if it doesn't work, I've got a really nice place to mount my vise pedestal, which is something that I've been wanting for a long time too. So if I can move this tubing bender without giving myself a hernia. All right. And then, in theory, it just picks up and sets like that. I might do a little zip tie or something to keep it from falling over, but that sits out of the way nicely and it allows the lift to go up and down even while it's up. So I'm pretty pleased. Call that a success.